Welcome, Oscar Carlsson.
Thank you.
How are you today? Everything is good?
It's good. Stockholm is beautiful today. It's May and sun is out. All
Excellent.
good.
Nice to have you here in our office here at Sino. Before we ask some questions about trends and things like that, I will just ask you about tell me more about yourself, your background in the industry.
Of course. So I came into this industry 26 years ago. So started with a company which some of you might have heard of, which is Sint, where I was part of the founding team, and then we have scaled that and expanded that internationally. And then I left a couple of years ago after a series of acquisitions and then an IPO to start my own advisory company. So now I advise other companies in the research tech space to do a similar scale-up journey and then work with some investors and some M&A transactions as well.
And that is Milo Advisory, your company, right?
Milo Advisory, exactly. So that's my company, which I've been running for a couple of years, named after my old dog Milo, which is a German Shepherd. And if you ever see the logo, it's a nice German Shepherd. It's not a wolf that some people think. So with that, I'm engaged with a series of different companies within the industry. Sit on a couple of boards, on a couple of research companies, and advisor to a couple of startups as well.
Excellent. But Sint, and how many? So over 20 years in Sint?
Yes,
wow.
Time flies.
Wow. It must have been a crazy journey, and a lot of people you met over those years, and a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it's definitely it's been a learning ground for me and a lot of people in the industry now, which have started other similar companies. Sino is one great example, but then you have other companies in the industry with a lot of legacy Sint people, Sint alumni. So, and what it creates when you work for such a company for a long time is that you create a network of people that you know, that you trust, that you want to work with again in the future, maybe in different constellations as buyers, suppliers, partners, and so on. And that's a lot what I do today as well. Is a lot of alumni Sint people or alumni industry people that I worked with in the past in different constellations that we work together now and when they start their own companies to help them scale and grow, and then sort of a trust that you build over time with those people.
But I think you have quite almost, I guess, quite unique perspective of our industry because of your experience in industry, but also your international outlook. I know you're traveling to Asia, to the US, here in Europe, around. So if you look at the industry in general now with your experience, how do you think the MR or MR tech industry is doing today? How is the industry feeling?
It's interesting. I think was it McKinsey that came out with a report of or maybe it was Anthropic with the 10 industries that's mostly impacted by AI, and market research is on that list. So of course that changes the industry, the expectations on the industry, but also creates some I think both worry but also some urgency within the industry to actually understand how will the new times, how will AI affect the industry, how should we adopt and embrace this, not to be replaced by AI, but how can we enhance ourselves. So it's a lot of interesting things happening, new companies entering the space, some of the older companies trying to figure out how to reinvent themselves or how to use new technologies, and then there's several trends that's affecting the industry right now.
We at Sino are doing a lot with AI, and I think most companies in the industry are doing something at least. Where do you think this disruption will be? Will it be on the, let's say, survey tool, field work, or more on the analysis stage? Where do you think the impact will be most?
Most is hard to say. I think some things are already happening, especially on the efficiency side, where you can do a lot of the scripting, the field work, the data analysis with AI to create more efficiencies essentially, and really free up your time to do other things and focus more on the actual value and the outcome of the data. So that's one big part that's happening. Another big part is on the analysis side, the different data sources that you can now correlate and then make understand of unstructured data and so on in a much more efficient way, which is creating a lot of both unique new solutions, but also hybrid solutions with traditional AI or traditional research and then AI solutions. And then also I think it's a lot in the distribution as well, where a lot of decision making will be either done or supported by AI depending on what type of decision making. You have several non-critical decisions happening in different tech stacks today on what advertising piece to place out, and I think a lot of those decisions will be taken by AI agents instead of people making those decisions, just because it's non-critical. If you get it wrong, you see it quite quickly, and then you can A/B test to something else. So I think a lot of those will be replaced by AI.
So would you say these non-critical decisions would be AI will just lead to an efficiency and lower cost of the company who do it, and the critical ones, if you use AI, maybe you can charge the clients more for your work, or how do you see the impact on revenue for the industry?
Yeah, exactly. I think for the critical decisions, you still want to have humans in the loop, right? You might be supported by AI in some cases, but you want humans to really understand and sort of add their experience and context on top of it, use it the right way, make recommendations to customers. And then the way I see brands today, they're, I think, overwhelmed with all the different AI solutions that's in the market right now. And they have always gone to research company as their trusted partner to help understand both sort of traditional research, different methodologies and so on, but also when they're overwhelmed with all the different AI companies, they go to their research partner and ask, okay, which one should we use? What type of new AI methodologies should we use? Should we go into synthetic? Should we go into digital twins or what have you? And then there, I think it's an important part for research companies to really embrace it, understand it, and then be a trusted partner to brands.
And keep that traditional, really, as research agencies do, understand the market, understand consumers, and keep that essence in the business to really help end clients out there.
Exactly. And then there would probably be slightly different products that you offer, but still there will be that relationship, and that trust will still be key going forward for especially those really high value critical decisions.
So if you look at that, let's say the industry, if you decide to divide the industry into different actors, let's say tech companies like a survey tool, or maybe some data analytics company, consultancies, MR consultancies, or fieldwork agencies, the growth in the next, let's say, 3-5 years, which of these parts of the industry do you think have the most prospects for growth?
I think really it's the research technology companies and the AI companies that's the highest growth. That's the new things. That's where most of the innovations happen. So that will be the most growth. But also, I would think that it would be with really the high trusted quality partners that is backed with technology that will have those growth. So I spoke earlier about research companies have to embrace, understand new AI solutions to be a relevant partner for customers in the future. Yeah. So I think the one that actually do that start understanding new technology, start understanding how to use it, how not to use it, they will be the winners, and the ones that are just avoiding to touch it, they will be left behind.
Yeah, I understand. If you go into the part of the fieldwork, especially online fieldwork, where do you see the trends there? We have obviously your old employer Sint as a panel or a sample marketplace. You have Dynata that had some financial issues a couple of years ago, and many other companies in that. How do you view the whole sector of online fieldwork panel companies? Do you think that's you see some trends in that part of the industry?
I think there's so what happened over the last years is that it's been a very fragmented market and really raised their bottom in pricing, and what we're starting to see is more segmentation in the market. There will still be room for high volume, low cost. I don't think that's going away, but there will be increasingly room for I think ID verified panels, high quality panels, so you can prove a differentiation, and it puts the pressure on panel companies to really prove, okay, if you run everything yourself, what is the added value that you can bring to your customer, and really showcase that and prove that. And then I think it's a big room for that, and we're seeing that customers are getting more and more educated on what they're buying, and for what purpose they're buying it, for what type of research that they're buying different things. So they will still buy sort of high volume where you need reach and you need easy access to the world, but also when you do really sort of niched target groups or really need to back or maybe train your own AI models with high quality data. You need to be dead sure that every single complete that you get is correct.
So you would say, let's say, if the average cost per interview 10 years was, let's say, $10 or €10, and then now it's maybe 25-30% of that, do you think that, the same client will buy sometimes an interview for $8 and one day later buy another interview for $3, depending on the case, basically?
Yeah, exactly. So it's might be the same client knowing that, okay, now I can buy this high volume and now I need to buy this high quality, or it could be different segments of customers as well that focus on one or the other.
Yeah, I understand. It's very, very interesting that it's kind of two trends at one time, you can say, both higher volumes and continued low CPIs, but also at the same time better quality or better verification with higher CPIs. And when you are out in the world, I mean, you go to Asia, US, do you see the same topics of discussion in the industry, or do you think do you see some differences between Europe, US, Asia?
There are slight differences. I think with smaller markets, the number of suppliers and the panels is a bit more scarce. So I think you work with local players that really understand the market a lot. And when you go to bigger countries that maybe do more international research, they work probably with some of the more global companies, and it's different price pressure in different markets. I think the willingness to pay for research is different, both depending on the brand's budgets, but also the historical way of doing research in markets, and the focus on high quality as well. So there are regional differences for sure, but I think everyone is looking for a partner which they can trust to do the field work for them. I think that's something that's similar with all markets. And it's very hard to break into a new market if you don't have the established trust and so on. So that takes time to prove yourself and really understanding the local market. And then I think with all the cultural differences going to Asia and so on, you really need to be an expert in each and every market that you go to. And similarly in Europe, it's a lot of different cultures in Europe as well.
Yeah. Exactly, and to work with those trusted partners that really understand the local market, that knows what's going on and can verify who they are interviewing. Exactly. I think that's really what I wanted to ask you today, Oscar. Thank you very much for this. It was a pleasure to have you here and hear your insights into the industry and trends in the industry. Very appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.